This video is to show you how to make a bug lantern for the Bradford-on-Avon 2015 Arts Festival. The theme this year is Flower Power, and we've got two designs of lantern, a bug and a bloom. This one is the bug. You start by buying a kit which contains 8 sticks of willow, 5 sheets of wet strength tissue, which is white, and the colour of tissue of your choice, and also a stick. And for a bug, you have a cane with a hook on the end because you're going to make it into a lantern you carry. In addition to your kit and your stick, you will need to supply masking tape, cling film, PVA glue, which you let down with a little bit of water if it's too sticky, something to pour the glue into, a brush, secateurs to cut your willow sticks, and scissors to cut the tissue paper and anything else. Break the masking tape into lengths of about 15 centimetres, 5 inches in old money, because you'll need a lot of pieces as you're working. You need to soak your willow twigs because if you don't, they will snap when you bend them. It's ideal to soak them overnight, and you find you can start squeezing it into a sink a bit like spaghetti into a saucepan. Wipe off the drips, cut off any horrible end with secateurs at work. And if it's got frayed end, you could cut that off as well, that's alright. The first shape you want is essentially an egg. So you will have a sharp end which you can ease into position by using both your thumbs against each other. So bend your willow round into an egg, and you can weave the short end, the thin end, onto the thick end, that's fine. In the stuff you supply, you need to have masking tape. And if you break it into shorter lengths, that helps you a lot. And then you use the masking tape like a bandage to hold the pieces of willow together. Now that's sticking out, so I'm going to put some masking tape over the end of that to make it blunt. That's better. It doesn't matter how much masking tape you use, it's fine. I've wiped another piece of willow and I've trimmed off the horrible ends. Now's decision time for whether I want the pointed end of my bug to be the head or the flat end of my bug to be the head. It's not final decision time, but it's something you can start thinking about. And you start to make a spine along the middle of your egg. Put the stick underneath the egg and use your thumb to make a right angle. Let's say the pointed end is the head end, and a right angle at the tail end, and those are going to join together. Use your masking tape to tie the spine onto the egg, nose and tail. Pinch your masking tape hard every time you've got it in position. It helps to stabilise it and stop it sliding around. Then you join, I can make more of a curve there, join the top end of the spine I can weave that in there. See, willow's quite bouncy and you can start to bring it all together as you work. There's the beginning of our half egg that will be the bug. Once you've got the spine on your egg-shaped base, you need to make 2 ribs in the same way. So put the rib underneath, bend your right angle, bend the other right angle, and this is going to come down and join that one, and I'll bend it all into curves. Now that's going to be 1 rib. That rib is going to join on there. So doesn't matter how much masking tape you use, it's absolutely fine. That's going to join on up there. And this one, I'm going to put this on first. I'm going to use this thin end to wind round in a different direction, just because that'll make the join more stable. In your kit there's a sheet of instructions as well. Now where have I missed out the joins? So that join is at right angles. And I need to join here. Go around in one direction, then another direction, to get the whole joint nice and stable. So here's our egg base, spine along the bottom and over the top, rib along the bottom and over the top, and I'm going to need another rib here made in the same way. Now I've got the basic egg. I did the spine over the top, I made 1 rib, and now I'm just finishing off attaching a second rib. So you end up with quite a firm basket. In the shape of half an egg, and that will be your bug body. If you want your bug to have wings, now's the time to make them and add them. Your bug doesn't have to have wings. It could be like a ladybird where the wings might not open. But if you do want it to have wings, you need to make a wing shape out of willow, and you need to make 2 of them. Okay, there's 2 roughly the same size. So to join it on, you put the hard side along the nose of your bug, and it's more stable if you join it where there is a join. You can join it further down, or you can join it further back if you want to. The strong side down the nose of the bug. And the same with the other wing, the strong side down the nose. Don't think that you can add the wings later, because it all gets very weak, and if it's windy on the night of the procession, you don't want the wings flying off your bug. So there, we've got that quite firmly fixed on, but I'm going to use some more masking tape to tie in those little bits. The more you tie in any loose ends, the stronger your structure is. And it's at this willow stage that you can really build in the strength. So there's our basic bug shape, a half egg with 2 wings. Once you've got your willow basket half egg, with or without wings, this one's without wings, if you cover it in cling film, it makes the next stage much easier. All covered. If your bug has wings, you need to cover the wings and cover the body so that the wings do stay independent of the body. Once you've got your basket covered in cling film, the next stage is to cover the whole thing in wet strength tissue and PVA glue. The wet strength tissue comes in 5 quite big sheets. You need to tear those into pieces. Your first few pieces can be about the same size as one of the sections of your bug. Keep your dry tissue well away from your glue. That's PVA diluted with a bit of water. If you brush the PVA onto your cling film and then dab the tissue on, it will start to stick. Put PVA underneath and on top of the tissue. Wrinkles are fine, overlapping is absolutely fine. You need at least 1 layer of wet strength tissue and PVA all over your bug. Your bug will need to hang up so that the PVA can dry. You can carry straight on and do your decoration at this stage, or you can let it dry and then do your decoration. But to hang it up, use a good old paper clip, go under one of the spines, well, find its balancing point, go under the spine, hook it up, and then you can hang it up with a sheet of plastic underneath to catch the drips, and there's your basic bug. The colour tissue is much more vulnerable than the wet strength tissue, so you need to decide on how you're going to do your decoration so you can do it all in one swoop. So here's 2 colours for my bug, and I think I'll keep it very simple. So I'm going to do some spots. Stop. So I've got orange spots and I think I'll do blue triangles. So to decorate your bug, I think I'm going to decide that that is the head end, and then I'm just going to add spots. So put your PVA underneath and on top, because otherwise your coloured tissue, your decoration, will come off. But the coloured tissue does wrinkle much more readily than the wet strength white tissue, and it also rips. You may also find, depending on the colour and on how wet your bug is, I think, that the colour will bleed. Some colours bleed more than others. I'm going to use a smaller brush. I'm going to add some little triangles. Randomly. The thing with bugs is they really do have wriggly legs. So just keep patiently folding at right angles, one over the other. It's surprisingly obvious how the right angles go. Now, having a little bit at the end is actually useful. And there's your wiggly leg. For the legs you could use two snazzy colours of paper and cut your strips. And do your folding and end up with jazzy coloured legs. On the legs though, you do need to leave end bits, because what you're going to do is use those end bits to attach to the body of the bug, the insect, 6 legs, and use little bits of wet strength tissue to hold it on. Right, let's attach the 6 legs to the body of the bug. I'm going to put green ones in the middle and orange ones at the end. So, there's my end bits. Put some glue on there. Press it on. And then use little pieces of wet strength tissue and plenty of glue . That it's like an elastoplast or a band-aid, because once the PVA dries, it's very, very strong. That way you don't have to try and grip inside the bug to staple it on. You don't use staples, you use PVA and extra tissue. For the antennae, you could use plastic straws like this. Do cover them in tissue and PVA, and I think it helps them to show if you put a blob of tissue and PVA at the end. And make sure you use tissue and PVA to hold them in. But for this one, I'm going to use 2 feathers that I already had. But because I'm finding I can't stick the feathers through the cling film, I'm going to make a hole with a screwdriver to put the feathers in. One there, and one there. And to stop them falling out and blowing away, I'm going to use the good old PVA and tissue technique to hold it all in position.
There's your bug.
And on the night, cut a little flap in your lantern, get a LED light and a paper clip and hook the light into the lantern to go in the procession. We're selling the lights on our stall, and you can get some on the internet, lots of different kinds, so that's up to you.